Well, good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner on this Saturday, September 15th. Happy to have you along after a rainy overnight, partly cloudy, sun shining out there. Hopefully it's going to be a great Saturday. Hopefully you get a chance to get out and enjoy everything. Let's go back to last night. The game heard on K104 despite some technical difficulties. I think we got her across, hopefully a good enough to be able to listen to. The Broncos hosted Moose Lake Willow River at Sports Stadium last night. The game was scoreless until the final minute of the first half. The Rebels recovered a fumble around the Broncos' 40-yard line, and a few plays later, they got a 22-yard touchdown pass to make it 6-0 at the half with under a minute remaining. Moose Lake Willow River then would take the second half kickoff. They'd drive 58 yards to make it 12-0. The Broncos would score for the first time this season early in the fourth quarter with about 10 minutes left. Simon Palm catches a tip pass and gets a great block from Anthony Sari and then races 61 yards for the touchdown. Jake Fromke added the extra point, and the Broncos trailed 12-7 with 9:54 remaining. However, the Rebels would take the kickoff 80 after the kickoff, would drive 80 yards in 7 plays. They would take a 20-7 lead, and that would be the final score. Quarterback Jason Lean had another busy and eventful night as he completed 17 of 32 passes for 220 yards. The 17 completions ties a school record held by Sean Brown from a game way back in 1991. Simon Palm caught 5 passes of those 17 completions for 149 yards. You know about the Broncos, we don't throw the ball around here very often, and a lot over the past 45, 50 years. 149 yards in a game receiving is the 6th best in the last 45 years, so a big night for Simon Palm. The Broncos are now 0-3 on the season, and they host Greenway Nashua Keewatin next Friday night at Sports Stadium. It is homecoming week coming up, and that game will be at 7 o'clock, of course, to go along with all the pomp and circumstance of homecoming. And of course, if you haven't heard yet, PCA, Packaging Corporation of America, is buying all the tickets for the home games next week, and so you will be able to get into that football game and the home volleyball game on Thursday against Little Fork Big Falls for free, which is an awesome thing. Greenway Nashua Keewatin was a 50-45 winner over Esco last night. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings defeated McGregor last night for their first win of the season at John Thompson Field as they dismantled the Mercury's 42-14. The Vikings scored a pair of touchdowns in the first quarter as Matt Kennedy caught a 16-yard pass from Logan Maish, and Jacob Pendergast added a 1-yard run with Cameron McRoberts catching both two-point conversion passes to give the Vikings a 16-0 lead after one quarter. Pendergast would add 74 and 37-yard touchdown runs in the second quarter for LBF as they led 30-0 as the waning moments of the first half before McGregor got on the scoreboard with 21 seconds left. It was 30-6 at half. Kennedy would score on a 12-yard run early in the third, and Maish would complete a 55-yard touchdown pass to Cameron McRoberts in the fourth quarter for the final Viking scores of the night as they won 42-14. Jacob Pendergast rushed 18 times for 173 yards and those 3 touchdown runs in the first half. The 1-1 Vikings now travel to Carleton on Monday. Yes, Monday, to complete the game, which was suspended way back on the first Friday of the season, with Carleton leading 10-8. Then LBF hosts Lake of the Woods next Friday night for homecoming, and the Bears, the game on Friday night will be on K104 as it is homecoming game. Will Heyer will be down there to bring you that broadcast, and the Bronco game next Friday night will be on KGHS 12:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM. Sticking with football, the Fort Francis Muskies, who had to forfeit their first game of the season last Friday due to a lack of players, went to Winnipeg yesterday, and they got a 42-0 win over the Technical Vocational School Hornets of Winnipeg. Brady Meeks threw for 188 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had 2 rushes for 15 yards, and he put it in the end zone on both of those carries. Cam Boyles had 15 rushes for 128 yards for the Muskies, and Carson Noga was 6 for 6 on all his extra point tries. Brady Budnarczyk had 4 catches for 93 yards. Aiden Gushalak had a couple of catches for 18 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Riley Argue 3 catches for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. Coach Cusolino had to give out a shout out to his O-line. They gave up no sacks during the game, and the defense had a shutout. So, hey, those are all great things. Brett Allen had 5 tackles on defense for the Muskies. Colton Allen had 5 tackles and a sack. Fort Frances will have their first home game of the season next Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock against Elmwood. The Fort Frances golf teams had their first meet of the season yesterday, and the Muskie boys shot a .395 for the first meet. St. Thomas Aquinas of Kenora won the meet with a .336. Aiden Wallinga led the way for the Muskies with a 92. Michael Ward shot a 95. Gordy Scott a 97. And Dawson Allen a 111. The Fort Frances girls basketball team got their season started yesterday as they are in Thunder Bay for a weekend tournament. They lost game 1 on a buzzer beater against Lakehead University 35-33. Ellie Petznick had 10 points and Sarah Larson had 9. In game 2, the Muskies lost to St. Ignatius, wow, that was tougher than I wanted it to say. St. Ignatius of Thunder Bay by a final score of 63-24. Grace Petznick had 7 points and Sarah Larson had 6. The Fort Frances Lakers were at home last night in a preseason game against the Red Lake Miners, and Anthony Antonelli scored 2:57 into overtime to give the Lakers the win over the Miners at Ice for Kids Arena. The Miners actually led the game 2-0, 85 seconds into the third period, but Fort Frances got on the board about 8.5 minutes into the third on a Nick Lucas goal, and then the Lakers tied it on an Ethan Knutson goal with 5:12 remaining. The Lakers outshot Red Lake 50-37. The same two teams play the final exhibition game of the season tonight up at Red Lake up in Sioux Lookout. Let's talk about the local high school games around the area from last night. Hermantown gets a late touchdown. They defeat Duluth Denfeld 14-8. Already mentioned GNK 50, Esco 45. Mora all over Eveleth Gilbert 42-8. Cloquet shuts out Hibbing 40-0. Ely 18, Lake of the Woods 14. Again, remember the Bears are coming to town next Friday to Little Fork to take on the Vikings. Masabi East 44, Deer River 14. Cromwell all over Ogilvie 46-20. Two Harbors shuts out Pine City 21-0. Sauk Rapids 38, Bemidji 37. Grand Rapids edges Proctor 19-14. Aiken, speaking of edging somebody out, defeats Virginia 14-12. Virginia missed the 2-point conversion to tie the game in the fourth quarter of that ball game. Barnum 47-0 over East Central. Renshaw, shuts out Onamia 42-0. Black Duck 32, War Road 28. Hill City Northland 52, Big Fork 38. Northwoods, who the Broncos play in a couple of weeks, defeat Silver Bay 46-33, and Floodwood 22-14 over Kellier Northholm. Now, this next story, bear with me. You might not believe that I'm reading this, but this has actually happened last night. Elk River was playing Buffalo last night, and Buffalo has a quarterback and you remember Todd Bowman, who was the quarterback for the Vikings. He's the head coach at Buffalo. His son is the junior quarterback. They played Elk River last night, who has one of the best running programs in the state. Elk River threw an interception the first time it had the ball and then scored on 11 consecutive possessions on their way to an 80-70 win last night. This is in football. 80-70 win last night over the host Buffalo team. The combined 150 points is believed to be a state record. The previous record is 128 points, and that game of 128 points actually involved International Falls way back in 1919. Buffalo quarterback Aiden Ballman threw 8 touchdown passes. He completed 35 of 54 passes for 551 yards in the game. 80-70 the final, Elk River over Buffalo. The Minnesota Twins were at Kansas City last night again for Game 2 of that series. Kansas City scored single runs in the first and second innings, but then the Twins bounced back. They got 3 in the fifth, 1 in the seventh to take a 4-2 lead. The Royals get 1 in the seventh to get closer. They tie it in the bottom of the ninth and then get a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the ninth to defeat the Twins 8-4. Robbie Grossman and Williams Astudillo each had 3 hits for the Twins. The same two teams tonight at 6:10 with the pregame at 5:40 on K104. What's going on locally today? Well, the Bronco girls swimming and diving team is down in Hibbing. The divers at 9 a.m. The swimmers will be taking to the pool at 1 o'clock. The Rainy River volleyball team, they're over in Thief River Falls today for a triangular as they will face Northland at noon and Itasca at 2 o'clock. Mentioned that the Fort Frances Lakers will be up in Sioux Lookout as they will take on Red Lake at 7:30 in their final preseason game. Minnesota United takes on Real Salt Lake tonight at 8:30 in the MLS. The Gopher football team faces Miami at 2:30 today. North Dakota State at home against North Alabama. UMD played St. Cloud State on Thursday night with the Dogs coming away with a 41-17 win there. BSU hosts Crookston today at 4 o'clock. UND is at Sam Houston State. And in the big boys, some of the top 25, number 12 LSU against number 7 Auburn at 2:30. I think that might warrant some of my time. And number 4 Ohio State is at number 15 TCU at 7 o'clock. That also may get a little bit of my attention this evening. The Gopher volleyball team, I believe ranked number 7 in the nation, they host Kansas State at 7:30 tonight. Tomorrow, the Minnesota Vikings are at the dreaded Green Bay Packers. Pre-game starts at 11 o'clock with the opening kickoff at noon on your home for the Minnesota Vikings, K104. News came out yesterday. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers is listed as questionable for the game after his injury last week against the Bears. We all know that he will be playing tomorrow. That is just a bluff. I would be unbelievably shocked if he wasn't playing. The Twins wrap up their series tomorrow with the Kansas City Royals. That game is scheduled to start at 1:15. Pre-game at 12:45, and that game will be on KGHS 12:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM, the new FM translator station for the AM station. The former Broncos, Sydney Raboyne with the UND cross-country team. She's in Lincoln, Nebraska today. Taylor Hebner for the UMD cross-country team, and Lexi Erickson with the St. Scholastica cross-country teams. They're in Bloomington for a meet. Nathan McRoberts and the Minnesota Crookston football team, they'll be in Bemidji today to face the Beavers at 4 o'clock. Maddie Filipiak had a busy week already. The BSU got their first win in the NSIC play this week as they swept Crookston on Tuesday night. Maddie had 9 kills in that match. Last night they lost to number 2 Northern State in 3 sets as Maddie had 4 kills, and the Beavers will be in Moorhead to take on the Dragons today. Let's take a break here, and we'll come back, and we're going to talk to members of the Bronco volleyball team. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. You want breakfast? You sure? It's free. All right, Sarah Caulfield. I ain't going to try to twist your arm. I mean, I could, but I don't think it's going to do me any good, so.
How do you just talk like that? Do you have a script?
Yes, I have a script.
I literally thought you were just rambling for 15
Some of it is rambling. Some of it is. Most of it's written down, or at least a thought written down, so.
I honestly thought you just like remembered all that and rambled for 15 minutes about it. It wouldn't surprise me if you did though. So like, can you get like questions?
Sorry, multitasking. It's on YouTube, yeah.
So I could look
On Tuesday sometime it will be uploaded to YouTube, yes.
So if I look and I can find my own interviews.
Probably could go find your old interviews if you knew what the dates were, yes. And this will be on KCC TV Channel 7 on the cable starting on probably Tuesday night. Why not? And we have technology to be able to have it on TV. So, wow, isn't that awesome? So you're in trouble because there's a TV camera or because you're on the radio? Both.
Just kidding, we'll be good.
I'm not worried.
Who's Brandon?
Holbert? That's those guys over there. Those are my next guests from the Rainy River baseball team. Paige's boyfriend. There you go. Paige Tashik is still alive? Huh?
I like it.
All right. Just hold it right there. Right there. I'll take care of everything else from there. 46 is the over-under, I think I heard on the betting line in Vegas. Wow. You're 2 tenths for me, Migs, this morning. You're going to have to relax. 5 seconds, okay? Oh, man.
Just kidding.
The stress.
I'm not stressed. I'm nervous enough.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, joined by a couple of members of the Bronco volleyball team. Seniors? Can we say that?
Oh, yeah.
Senior Libby Miggins and senior Sarah Caulfield. Wow. Whoever thought you guys would grow up and be old?
Not me.
Not you? Okay, well, that's fair enough. And ladies, it's been, I'm going to say kind of a tough start. Not the way you guys wanted to get the season started, but what's been happening that's been positive for you guys through the first few weeks of the season? This is well, give it to me. What do you got going on?
It's a bunch of new girls
Yeah.
at the team. So I think we had 4 returning players from last year. So very big positive thing is that like a lot of people are stepping up to fill shoes, and we're just figuring out what shoes should go where on the court right now.
Isn't that the fact? And that's one of the tough things. And I always think about coaches because they always have really good coaches find a way, maybe not early in the season, but by the end of the season, they find a way to find out where those pieces, where those shoes are supposed to go. Some coaches maybe get it a little bit quicker. I was talking with the Moose Lake Willow River coach before the game last night, and he talked about we're experimenting right now. We're trying things to find out so that when playoff time comes around, we get the best 11 guys on this side of the ball. We get the best 11 side on this side of the ball. Sarah, do you kind of feel like that's what's been happening and the team is heading in that direction where we're going to get it all figured out?
Yeah, we've been trying a lot of like new things in practice, trying to mix it up, put people different places, just see what works.
And different offenses and defenses as well. I mean, that is also part of the puzzle, correct?
Yep.
Do you feel like that you guys have settled on offense and defenses now? The attacks, the defenses of how you're going to do things, or is that still something that's going in motion here, Libby?
Our serve receive right now, we need to work on that, so that's something that's definitely not set into place. But for the most part, I think we have our coverage and our different hitting very clear, but it's just the necessary parts of where we need to be and how we got to get there. We got to quicken that up.
And I would say the serve receive is something that always has to be something that changes during a match. Yes, Sarah, is that true? I mean, you'd like to be able to stay in one, but that's something that changes up quite a bit, right?
Yeah, sometimes like you just need to mix people up and like see what works. Somebody shanks a pass and then you got to put somebody new in to see if they can get it up.
So this is new coach, new things, new way of doing things. It's been an interesting, fun, difficult type of process. Which word would you use to describe what's been going on with a new coaching staff? It's different.
It's definitely different. We're all getting the hang of it. Coach is kind of getting the hang of it too because she hasn't coached volleyball yet. She's always been on the playing side of volleyball. So kind of translating her experience and stuff to teaching is getting new, but we're getting it.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning, like you said, a learning process for the coach as well. Young people trying to learn those first things is definitely a learning process as much for them as it is for you guys. Give me an idea of over the last week or so, because I got to watch you guys the previous week, and I did not get to watch you guys at the Greenway tournament on Saturday, and I did not get to watch you Thursday night against Virginia. Talk about maybe the 8 or 9 girls that are kind of seeing the floor time, that are kind of going around and are getting to see quite a bit of playing time.
Right now we're kind of fluctuating everyone through, but there was Katie Ruport. She used to be a little hitter, but now she's coming in for passing and she's doing great. She never had to pass, and little did we know that she was a great little passer. Maddie Olson.
Could she be a great big passer, or is she?
Well, it's referring to her size. Katie's a little girl. She's a minion.
She's a minion. Oh, I can't wait to use that on her in class on Monday. And keep going. Sorry.
Maddie Olson, she's picked up some big shoes. Maria Vollum, it's hard to fill the libero. Oh. It's always hard. Like we had Lauren, we had Tia, and now we have Maria, and she's getting it. Chloe Sullivan is stepping into her sister's shoes, and she's doing great. Her blocks, they're amazing this year.
And I want to go back to Maria Vollum. I want to go back to the libero position. is that the most intimidating position on the floor, or is it just me? Because it seems like you wear a different colored jersey, you stick out, and your job is, I'm supposed to be in the back row to make a pass every time, and you're kind of expected to make a great pass or a good pass every time, yes?
Yeah. Libero sucks. I would never, ever want to be the libero.
There's a lot of pressure there in that spot, Libby?
Yeah, you literally have a different jersey, so you're the target. Most times teams try not to hit it to the libero, but we look at her, we are like, oh, white jersey, Maria's got it. Maria, you got it, you got it, you got it. Like, that's your job, kid. Sure. But she's quick, so she can get to the balls. So.
Absolutely. You were mentioning Chloe Sullivan, and then I cut you off. Who else has been getting time here for the Broncos?
Grace Bragg is one of the right sides, and she's doing really good. She's setting a lot this year. Holly Wold, she's a quick little thing, from basketball. She has quick feet, so she's doing really good for setting. Maddie Lawrenson, her sets have been really good this year. She had a couple different injuries, but all in all, I think all the young ones are pushing their potential right now.
Okay, so now you brought up the setter position, so now I want to ask, would somebody out there, the people who are listening to this, are they sitting there, Ringhofer, you've lost your mind, libero's not the toughest spot, being the setter is the toughest spot. Would you agree with that statement maybe, or would you think that... Go ahead, Sarah.
I'm Sarah, you got this one.
Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, setter is really difficult because you're just expected to get the second ball every single time, no matter where it is, and you got to get it up, get it so the hitters can get a good hit on it. And if you can't do that, then we can't make an attack on the ball.
I was thinking as I watched you guys at Northwoods, the first match that I saw, second match of the season, I started thinking back. We had Tegan Anderson for 4 years, and we had Bianca Carlson for 3 seasons. So the last 7 seasons, it's kind of been set, and not to be ironic about, but I mean the setter position has been set. It was just there was no doubt about it. Who was going to be the setter? Who was doing the work? But now you got to find somebody new, and that's tough to find.
Yeah, our setters have definitely stepped up, but we've always had them. It's crazy how we take our setters for granted. But Bianca, it would be halfway across the room and she'd set it, and it would be perfect. And I still don't believe it. And our setters now, they're smaller and stuff, but they still have power behind them. And we always we're used to running, just having one setter, as you say, we had our setters set. Yeah. Well, this year we're going all over the place. I'm even setting this year, so it's.
And how crazy
different.
Is that?
It's really crazy. It's way different.
I had a chance. I want to mention Bianca. I got a chance to watch her last week as they were playing Hibbing. And it was amazing that some of the things that she was able to set along the net, I don't know how she contorted her body to reach, not touch the net, but get her body twisted. It's an art form. It's something that I believe that she worked really hard on, and it has paid off. Let's talk about the match coming up this week. I think we go to Ely on Tuesday.
Yep.
And then Little Fork Big Falls on Thursday.
Yep. Homecoming, be there.
Homecoming, be there. Free tickets. How can you pass that up? All the Bronco games this week have free admission, so you can get in for free. So if you've been not going, maybe because whatever, this is no excuse this week. You got to get out and see the Broncos at home on Thursday night. So how big is that match on Thursday night against Little Fork? I'm going to skip past the Ely match. I'm going to go right to the meat of the argument, because I had the Viking girls on last week. Now you guys are here for the rebuttal. You guys get to put the last word in here on Coach's Corner. So Sarah, how big is that match coming up on Thursday?
That's a big game, big rivalry. I think we're going to win it though.
Oh. Ooh, see, right there, bulletin board material, right up there on YouTube, KCC TV.
No.
Everybody's going to be able to see it. What gives you that kind of confidence, Sarah? What do you know about the Vikings? What has you thinking about that match and has it in this very positive light?
I just think we all know that it's a really big game, and we just really want to win that every year. So that'll give us a little more drive.
Bragging rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Bragging rights.
For sure. Especially going into basketball season and everything else. And everything else. So what match besides the Little Fork Big Falls match coming up on Thursday? Which match are you guys looking forward to? What do you see out there as some good matches for this team?
I think that there's a lot of similar teams to us this year, so it's always like neck and neck, and it's really exhausting when you go to 5 games and you lose by like 2 points. That's like one of our biggest struggles. And I think that once we get a win underneath our belt, we're just gonna keep going. Like that's what we're hoping to keep growing from that. So
I will mention them. I believe the first match of the season against Two Harbors goes 5 sets against. Who did I miss? Dang it. Who? Mesabi East. And then, of course, last Saturday, a couple of best 2 out of 3 sets. You guys drop them in third sets. Again, they won 17-15, if I remember correctly. Obviously, it's no fun to lose that way, but do you find yourself learning something from that situation and getting something positive out of it going forward? Because to me, what I've seen is you guys have fallen behind 2 sets to 1. You found a way to get it to a 4 set and then win the 4 set and get it into a 5th set. So, Sarah, that's got to be good that this team has some tenacity, has some drive to stick in there and dig in and find a way to get matches to the 5th set. Is it a good? Does this team have that, or is it something where this is just how things happen? Where the team has to find a way after set 3 to kind of dig in and find a way.
We kind of once we start winning and stuff, we're like, oh, this is so fun. Like let's keep going. We always have fun playing with each other, no matter what. But it kind of just like lights a fire underneath us. So we're like, let's push it to game 5. Like let's take it in 5. And one of these days we're going to get it.
One of these days it's going to get over the hump and then we'll get it. Ladies, thanks for being here on a Saturday morning. I know it's not always easy to come in, but we certainly appreciate it. Libby Miggins and Sarah Caulfield joining me here. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk Rainy River Baseball. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardy's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to our third segment of Coach's Corner, joined by Brandon Holbert and Philip Hines from the Rainy River baseball team. Guys, thanks for being here this morning. It is always it's interesting because I get out of school and about 3:45, 3:50, and I look out to the baseball field, and there you guys are. Every day, a lot of people are thinking baseball's a spring sport. For you guys, it's a fall and a winter and a spring sport, right?
Year round for us.
Yep. And you guys wouldn't have it any other way, right?
No, sir.
You guys come back to school here and get things started. And did you guys get started with practice before school started or after school started?
After, yeah.
After school.
About a week after.
About a week after, so you guys had a chance to get your feet on the ground and get back into the grind of classes. And how's that been going?
Oh, it's been going good.
Good?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's been going good.
It's been
what
3 weeks, so
it's
can't
been
complain.
okay. So what's the favorite class? I'm kind of interested to see what you guys are.
I like your environmental science right now. It's pretty interesting. Just learning about the forest that we have out here at International Falls. So it's pretty interesting.
Sure.
Principles of chemistry.
Principles of chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds very interesting. Sounds fun. So tell us where you're from.
I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona for Philip and
Born and raised.
Born and raised, and
Same place, actually.
you guys go to the same school?
We did.
Yeah, we
graduated together.
Wow.
Yep.
No? Okay. So here we go. So baseball season gets started. You guys walk onto the baseball field, and it looks like, the things have been torn apart a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it looks different. Looks different from last year. We have a new scoreboard,
Yeah.
brand new dugouts, putting in.
Does that make going to practice more exciting when you know that we've got this nice new stuff to be looking at and to sit in?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I mean, it feels like you're at a new park, really.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Koenig put a lot of effort, Eric Walls, and a whole bunch of the area businesses, and I'm probably missing somebody there, and I apologize because I don't know everybody who was in on that, but I know the team secured some money from the Twins to help out with the dugouts. Minnesota Power helped out with the scoreboard, and again, a lot of legwork and a lot of local people who put a lot of payless hours into getting everything put together, and Up North Builders putting the dugouts in. As I saw some pictures with the roofs on.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign.
Time, yeah.
Fall ball, to me, seems like it would be tough to do. Is it tough to do?
Yeah, because some people didn't play summer ball, so their arms, they have to work them in, and so really you just don't want to overthrow.
Sure.
You're in fall ball, and you just want to kind of take it easy but still perform.
Let's see here. We got maybe a little loose wire there. Now we're set. So you come back, Brandon. Same idea there.
Oh yeah, and especially with a new team, it's kind of tough. You're playing for the first time as a team. So, but it's a good opportunity to kind of get out there and see what everybody has this year.
How many guys back as sophomores for this season?
We only have 8 sophomores back.
Only 8 sophomores, and so is it have some pitchers in there? What's kind of the numbers that have come back out of that group?
Probably,
I think about 4 of them are pitchers.
Yeah, so it's
sophomores.
Four. Eh?
Yeah.
You need those kind of things. What about the young guys, the new guys that have come in? What have you seen that you like, and maybe what are you like? Geez, we really need somebody to do this to help us out next spring.
Honestly, I mean, all the new guys are coming in and putting in their work that they need. I don't really see a weak spot on this team right now. We reloaded a lot and brought in a lot of guys, brought in a lot of position guys this year, which is something we need, especially, injuries kind of prone to us last year, especially for myself.
Sure.
But it's going to be an eventful year, I can tell you that.
Last week, last Saturday, you guys played the alumni. At least I was told. I wasn't in town, so I don't know for sure that the game happened.
We did.
How'd that game go?
First game was a little rough because that's our first game as a team, so didn't really know how we would perform. But the second game, we all came together and fought hard and battled back and won the game.
And won the game. So
we split the series.
So he split the series. That's all right. The alumni team, did they have some of the guys off of last year's team coming back to play?
Yeah, they had one.
One guy?
1 or 2, yeah.
1 or 2. So you guys mentioned that you like what this team looks like they're going to do. You feel like they're going to be strong in all areas. Are they going to be stronger in one of the areas, whether it be defensively, pitching, offense? Do you see one that is maybe a little stronger right now than the others?
No, I think they're all pretty balanced right now.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got some fall series to play here. Are you guys playing this weekend?
We play Wednesday.
Wednesday
Versus Vermilion.
and that is going to be here.
Here
And what time?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock at Sheila Field. So if you need a baseball fix out there on a Wednesday afternoon, you don't have anything else going on, head out over to Sheila Field and see the new dugout, see the new scoreboard, as you guys will take on Vermilion in a pair of games. And then what's coming up on the weekend? I think you're going
to Hibbing on Sunday, and then I think we have Vermilion one more time out there, and we play Mesabi, and then right after that we go into our Red and Black World Series. Coach splits the team in half and play a best 2 out of 3 series. Right after that, we go into off-season workouts.
Is your eyes kind of lit up there, Brandon, when you were talking about that? Is that the most exciting part of fall ball?
Oh yeah, it's one of the most exciting things.
Oh yeah, it's competing against each other for real this time, and not just an inner squad like we usually do.
So what's the prize at the end, so to speak, for this? Do you get to avoid some running or whatever else for winning the series, or is it just pride?
You just don't have to clean the field.
Yeah.
You get to watch the losers clean the field.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That makes it pretty easy. With these teams, you get the chance to see the Vermilions and the Hibbings of the world. Does that kind of help going into next season, in the spring season when you're playing them, to get a chance to see them in the fall, or is it too far apart to make any analysis there?
Well, last year Vermilion had a lot of freshmen, so this year they're going to be really sophomore heavy. So they're probably going to be the team to beat this year. But all the other teams, everybody lost a lot of sophomores last year. So it's going to be an interesting year. I'd love to see what Vermilion has to throw on the table this year.
Okay. Anybody else out there, Brandon, that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
Well, from what I remember last year, we played Mesabi last fall, and I remember that when we played them in the spring anyway, they lost a lot of guys from the semester anyway. So it's kind of hard to gauge fall teams anyway,
Sure.
fall games, just because you have guys that can't play in the spring and all that kind of stuff. So, but it should be pretty fun.
You guys mentioned after the Red and Black series, you guys go into the off-season workouts. Part of that off-season workout is getting hired to help people around town.
Absolutely.
So obviously that means you guys get to do what things?
We get to window wash, shovel, move furniture if you need it. We do anything you guys want us to do in the
Breaking
community.
jobs.
How about splitting wood?
Whatever you
we
need.
can do that probably.
whatever you guys
Whatever
need,
you need.
whatever you need. And of course, if you're interested in that, you're listening and you're interested in that, the phone number is
Let me look. it up real quick.
283-3380. That'll get you.
Koenig.
That'll get you a hold of Josh or Shelly Koenig. They'll get you all set up with somebody, and especially, I think the biggest one is the snow shoveling. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not supposed to talk about the weather, but being from Tucson, is shoveling snow one of the toughest jobs, or is it something that's interesting for a while and then
The first couple of times I was very interested in it last year.
the first couple of
But then after that, it was just, oh, you have to shovel out here. It's like 15 degrees and you're shoveling 3
show
feet
up,
of snow.
Yeah, you show up and you see how much snow's on the ground, and then you dread
just
it after.
Look down and shake your head. It's just,
and then you put your head down and you go to work, right?
Exactly.
It is something that obviously has to be done around here, and I would think that that's where you guys probably find most of your work. Yes, with
Yes.
snow shoveling. It's a project that can be very taxing, and you guys are nice and young and able to do that. Just mention, I want to go back to the freshmen, the new guys. Is there a couple of guys that maybe you want to pinpoint or talk about, or are you guys not? I mean, maybe somebody that me as a sports guy, as a reporter, as somebody who's watching, is there a guy that or two that I might be looking out for going, holy smokes, this kid can really play?
Barrett.
Yeah.
From the Falls.
Okay.
Everybody probably knows Barrett.
Sure, Barrett
And
Kaler?
He coming out here as a catcher, we moved him over to second base, and he's doing a great job over there. He's performing very well over there.
Yeah, he's a kid who can play in multiple positions.
Absolutely.
Probably
Exactly.
this past spring season, probably had to maybe play out of position, and I don't want that to sound derogatory, but he had to go play shortstop, which he had never played before, and you know he dug in and went out and didn't get to play in his normal position and did what he had to do for the team. Somebody else that you guys see out there as a young buck who and is making a contribution, at least early on from what you can see.
Tyler Gray is one of our pitchers, and he's a freshman this year. He'll probably be either a 1 or 2 starter, and hopefully he's gonna perform to what I know he can do.
Talk about the big difference. You guys are playing junior college baseball versus high school. What do you kind of see as the biggest difference? Maybe the adjustment you guys had to make from the high school level to this level.
The speed of the game in college, it picks up a lot more than in high school. That's the only thing I can really recognize.
Brandon, you agree with that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, coming out here, people, I remember last year a couple guys were, it's Minnesota Junior College baseball, it's not going to be very much. And they come out here and they're surprised because, it's still baseball and you still got to compete. And everybody's going to throw their best at you.
Sure.
And it's kind of like the high school thing, you put your best 9 out there. Like you said, though, the speed of the game definitely picks up. Your tempo's picked up a little bit. And everybody is in it, even the bench guys.
To me, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but I would think maybe the biggest change is the pitchers. In high school you see some decent pitching, but with pitching rules and all that other stuff, you maybe don't always see it. But the breaking pitches and maybe the off-speed pitches, is that a big challenge as a batter, I guess, thinking about facing somebody who can throw like that?
Oh, absolutely. And especially once you get down to regionals like we did last year.
Sure.
You see everybody's number 1 guy. We played, was it Northland, and they threw their number 1, and we actually saw him. That was the 4th or 5th time we saw him last year. And we went on and played, top 3 nationally ranked in the Century.
Yep.
Ended up losing 6-5 in a great game, but they threw their number 1 guy against us, and then played Rochester, and they did the same thing. So it's always going to be tough.
There's always a target on our back at Rainy River.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Northern
Because we
Division
perform.
champs. That's what it is.
Northern Minnesota, yeah, and make
Division
things happen. Well, guys, I wish you best of luck as you go through fall ball here. But of course, more fun to come as you guys head to Florida in March. And
Actually, we're going to Tucson this year.
Yep.
What?
Home to play.
Changed?
Yeah, we're going home.
Boy, so I suppose you guys, that means you're going to be hosting people at the houses and cooking and giving them the Arizona love, right?
Oh, we're going to go see
Let's
family.
hope so. Yep. Let's hope so.
Are you bringing all the buddies with though to the house and
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Guys, I appreciate you being here. Best luck in the fall and
Thank you,
in
thank
spring
you.
ball. That is Philip Hines and Brandon Holbert joining me here. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we will wrap it up here from Hardee's. You're listening to Coach's Corner live on K104 and online at RJ Broadcasting. BroncosCrossCountry.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our final segment. Let's go back and wrap up the previous week here. Last Saturday, the Bronco volleyball team went 0-4 at the Greenway tournament. They lost to Ely in 2 sets, Greenway in 2 sets, and then Mesabi East and Hill City each in 3 sets. The Rainy River volleyball team went 1-2 at the Anoka Ramsey tournament. Game 1 was a loss to Dakota County in 3 sets as Allison Satry had 14 digs. Game 2 was a 3-set loss to the St. Thomas Junior varsity team. Chelsea Cabate had 5 kills and Satry had 12 digs. In Game 3, the Voyagers get the win over Anoka Ramsey in 3 sets. Bianca Carlson and Kayla Klofstedt each had 9 kills. Bianca also had 15 set assists along the way. Last Saturday, the Fort Francis Lakers got a win as Jaden Ness scored 7.5 minutes into the third period, and that would be the game winner as they defeated Minnesota 3-2 on home ice, at the Hoyt Lakes Arena. Brett Hakala and Noah Loveday also scored for the Lakers. On Sunday, the Lakers were at home against the Minnesota Iron Rangers again as they were playing at home, and it was a 6-2 win as they scored 4 unanswered goals to break open a 2-2 game. An early power play helped the Lakers pick up the eventual game winner in the second as Jake Clendenning connected on the power play 18 seconds into the second period. Noah Loveday added an even strength goal a minute and a half later, and then Isaac Barron made it 5-2 after 2 periods. Nick Lucas would get the final goal in the third period as Fort Francis outshot Minnesota 55-20 with Dawson Rodin picking up the win for the Lakers. The Bronco cross-country teams were in War Road, and just like the previous Thursday, both girls and boys teams came in second place behind East Grand Forks. The girls had 60 points compared to 33 for East Grand Forks as Ryan Ford took 4th, Avery Savonin 5th, Bailey Herberg took 14th, Anna Wendell's 17th, and Gwyneth Shinners was in 20th. The boys had 47 for a score, with East Grand Forks having 30. Jake Erickson 4th, Hunter Wilson 6th, Parker Savonin 7th, Justin Besch was 13th, and Joe Glowak was 17th. On Tuesday, Indus volleyball team lost to Cass Lake in 4 sets. Rayanna Wolden had 5 aces, a kill, a couple of digs, and 6 set assists. Corinne Dahl, 3 aces, 7 kills, and 3 blocks. And Anna Noyes had 2 aces, 3 kills, a couple of blocks, and a couple of digs in that match. LBF was at home, and they took on Northeast Range, and it went all the way to 5 sets as the Vikings lose 15-11 in set 5. Emily Fairchild had 17 digs. Destiny Pekarsky had 16 digs. Destiny also had 7 kills. Danielle had 9 kills. Pekarsky, had 9 kills along with 11 digs. Set assists, Nissa Thomas led the way with 11. The girls swimming and diving team from the Falls defeated Chisholm on Tuesday 131.5 to 38.5. The Broncos took first place in all 12 events, so let's list the winners there. In the 200 medley relay, it was the relay of Taylor Sears, Whitney Gwynn, Morgan Hedlund, and Amelia Stewart. The 200 free relay of Emma Erickson, Taylor Sears, Ellie Nelson, and Amelia Stewart, and the 400 free relay of Ellie Nelson, Haven Pelland, Caitlin Kelstead, and Emma Erickson. Emma Erickson was also a double winner individually in the 200 free and the 100 free. Taylor Sears, a double winner in the 200 IM and also the 100 breaststroke. Amelia Stewart took first in the 50 free. Whitney Gwynn first in diving. Haven Pelland first in the 100 butterfly. Gracie Bowles took first in the 500 free. And Shay Manassa took first in the 100 backstroke. And, of course, it was a big day for me personally on Tuesday as I got a new grandson. And I want to make a shout-out to Vinny, the new grandson, Vinny Manassa, and hope you're listening, bud. On Wednesday, Rainy River defeated Vermilion in 4 sets, 25-17, 25-12, 25-27, and 25-16 up in Ely. Chelsea Cabate, she led the way for the Voyagers with 16 kills. Kayla Klofstedt had 10, and Allison Satry had 20 digs. Bianca Carlson, busy as always, 22 set assists, 7 digs, 3 blocks, and 6 ace serves. On Thursday, the Bronco cross-country teams were down in Eveleth for the Lions Invitational. Ryan Ford took 7th place and Avery Savonin 11th as the girls finished 7th as a team with 183 points. Proctor took first with 87 and North Shore right behind in second with 96. On the boys' side, Jake Erickson was 9th, Hunter Wilson 12th, and Parker Zavonin 16th as the boys finished in 3rd place with 107. North Shore won the meet with 51, and Ely took took second with 74. The Bronco volleyball team lost to Virginia in 3 sets on Thursday evening, 25-11, 25-14, and 25-19. Mariah Leahy, 4 kills, 3 aces, and 8 digs. Sarah Caulfield had 10 digs for the Falls. The LBF volleyball team, they lost to Northwoods at home on Thursday, 25-23, 25-17, and 25-15. Emily Fairchild had 8 kills and 9 digs. Danielle Pekarsky, 6 kills and 11 digs. And Nissa Thomas had 12 digs and 6 set assists. The Bronco football team last night lost to Moose Lake Willow River 20-7. Quarterback Jay Celine had completed 17 of 32 passes for 220 yards, 149 of those into the hands of Simon Palm, who scored on a 61-yard touchdown pass for the Broncos in that game. Remember, the Broncos will be hosting Greenway Nashua Keewatin on Friday night in their homecoming game at 7 o'clock at Sports Stadium. The LBF Vikings got their first win of the season last night as they defeated McGregor 42-14. Jacob Pendergast had a big night. He rushed 18 times for 173 yards and had 3 touchdowns as the Vikings built a 30-0 lead just before halftime and went on to the 42-14 win. Remember, the Vikings will be playing on Monday in a game that will be resumed that was played the first week. The Fort Francis Muskies football team won 42-0 yesterday in Winnipeg as Brady Meeks threw for 188 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also rushed for 2 touchdowns. Not too bad of a day to get in on 6 touchdowns in that game. The Fort Francis boys golf team shot a 395 yesterday as St. Thomas Aquinas won the meet shooting a 336. Aiden Willinga led the way for the Fort with shooting a 92. Fort Francis girls basketball team, yes, they play basketball in the fall, not in the winter like we do here in Minnesota. They lost a pair of games in Thunder Bay yesterday, lost 35-33 to Lakehead University at the buzzer, and then were defeated by St. Ignatius of Thunder Bay 63-24. The Fort Francis Lakers won 3-2 over the Red Lake Miners in an exhibition game last night at Ice for Kids Arena. What's going on again locally here today as we look forward instead of backwards? The Bronco girls swimming and diving team is down in Hibbing for a big team invitational today as the diving got started at 9 o'clock. The swimming begins at 1. The Rainy River volleyball team is over in Thief River Falls. They'll be playing 2 matches today. They're taking on Northland at noon and Itasca at 2 o'clock. The Lakers will be up at Sioux Lookout tonight to take on Red Lake in their final preseason game at 7:30. Of course, we'll have Twins on the air tonight on the FM. Tomorrow we'll have Twins on the AM 12:30 and 95.3 FM. And, of course, the Vikings at noon tomorrow with that kickoff there. Pregame, at 11 o'clock. No area sports going on Monday. Tuesday, the Bronco volleyball team travels to Ely. The LBF volleyball team is on the road at Hill City. And the cross-country teams will be in Bagley for a 4 o'clock meet. On Wednesday, the Rainy River volleyball team will be down in Cloquet to face Fond du Lac at 6:30. On Thursday, we'll have the big border battle between the two of the area volleyball teams as the Vikings will come to town to take on the Broncos in a 7 o'clock match. We'll have that game on the air for you on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. The pregame set to start at 6:45 and the opening serve at 7 o'clock. Also going on Thursday, the Fort Francis golf teams will be at Kenora. The Fort Francis girls basketball teams and boys volleyball team will be hosting Dryden at noon, and the girls swimming and diving team will be down in Aurora at take on Mesabi East in a 4:30 match. On Friday, very busy day. The Fort Francis boys volleyball team will be in Kenora for a weekend tournament. The Fort Francis girls basketball team will be at Dryden for a weekend tournament. The Bronco football team will be home for homecoming as they will take on Greenway Nashua Keewatin. And just a reminder, the football game on Friday night and the volleyball game on Thursday night will have free admission thanks to PCA for doing that. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings football team will also be having their homecoming game. They will be taking on Lake of the Woods, and we'll have both of those games on the air next week. The Vikings game will be on K104, and the Broncos will be on the AM/FM on 12:30 AM and 95.3 FM. The Fort Francis football team will be at home to take on Elmwood next Friday night. Friday afternoon, the Lakers will be in Dryden to open their SIJHL season on the road at Dryden, and the Rainy River volleyball team will be back over in will be at home to take on Northland out of Thief River Falls. That match set for 6:30. On Saturday, the Lakers will be down at Hoyt Lakes for a 7 o'clock game in their second game of the season, and Rainy River volleyball will be hosting Central Lakes at noon, and they will be one of our guests next Saturday morning before that match, so we'll have a chance to talk to them. We'll also have a chance to talk to Little Fork Big Falls Vikings football. Hey, by that time, they could be on a 3-game winning streak as they won last night, play on Monday, and play on Friday as well. Thanks to Chad back at the station for pushing all the buttons. Thanks to everybody here at Hardy's, Dave and the crew for taking care of our guests. Thanks to our sponsors, but most of all, thank you for listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardy's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.